Hello everybody, this is Starman and welcome back to Let's Play Quest for Glory 2 Trial by Fire, the VGA remake, The Thief Path. Well, as you can see, we're back here at the Oasis. The Dervish has just given us this bit of wisdom: early to bed and early to rise makes Jack dull boy. But I decided to stop here because I have made one more round between Shapier and the Oasis since the last video. I wound up fighting two more hordes of Jackalmen. Well, hordes being one group of 5 and one group of 1. And I also wound up seeing two giant scorpions and a ghoul, but they walked off the screen before I could fight them because of me approaching them from one of the bits where I was climbing over a ridge, and by the time they were, I was able to click on my dagger icon, they were already gone. But in that short time, stealth is now 179, weapon use is up to 156, experience is now above 40,000 for what little that's worth, and I got a message saying I'm exhausted from lack of sleep, so I am going to take the opportunity to refill my water skins. And you actually do have the option of resting here at the Oasis. So this does seem like a good place. You curl up and fall near the pool and soon fall asleep. Now I think that you recover your health a little bit better when you sleep indoors. But we do waken as the sun begins to rise. Go ahead and head back to Shapier and see what's shaking on day 7. And I could have attacked the pterosaur, but not going to because, well, no money in it. But, yeah, a very profitable night fighting the Jackalmen. Because if we take a look at our purse, we now have 65 golden dinars, so I think we made about 50 gold off of the Jackalmen. Which is not bad given the relative investment. I don't think anything major happens on day 7, except that Rakeesh will be back at the guild hall and we can talk with him about a few things. Good day, hero. Yeah, not Hero Spielberg. He's just calling me Good Day Hero now. And he says, may you stay safe. So, nice little greeting there. Sin time for the Porta Fende? Yeah, in a moment. But first, I'm not sure if each one increases my communication skill. It would appear not. And hey, stealth's up to 181. And I think with him, it is the giving that boosts your honor, not the amount given. Because, yeah, after that boom, honor's at 75. You decide not to give anything. And, well, that'll only do so much for so long. Now, you keep giving a set amount here. But I don't think you get as much investment here. Or it may be that they programmed it so you don't... Well, actually you do. Not quite as much as before, but we did get a little bit of a boost there. Because it's rather ridiculous in Quest for Glory 3. There is another musician who you can give money to boost your honor. And if you're playing as a paladin, you can unlock all of your abilities at the very beginning of the game just by giving all of your money to the one merchant. Anyway, we'll go ahead and head to the plaza. Nothing to see outside, but I think if we head in... There he is. You have saved the city with your courage and your resourcefulness. The land of Shapier is indebted to you. By order of the Sultan Harun al-Rashid, I have been asked to give you this reward for your actions. Rakeesh gives you the 50 dinar reward. We are all truly fortunate that you came to this land. Anyway, we can go ahead and greet. Tell about Spielberg. And see what else he has to say. Rakeesh. I don't think we unlock much new here. And I think we asked him about the monsters before. And down that chain again. And yeah, you can give flowers to Uhura as well. These make good salad for dinner. That'd be very kind of you. But you still get the benefit. And yeah, I think we just had a thing where I thought I was trying to get into her private quarters. And yeah, that burst of flower giving just boosted my honor to 83 and my communication to 147. So I'll probably be grinding that a little bit off camera. But for now, I think I am going to go ahead and do a quick little fight test against Uhura and see if maybe Rakeesh has some advice for us this time. And yeah, he won't take a challenge. And back off so she doesn't do that spring attack on us. And booyah, still teaching her a lesson. And she says that is enough for today. But I pulled up the list of things you can ask them about, and it turns out there's different topics you can talk about in the fighting hall than there are out in the guild hall. Like, for instance, for Uhura, we can ask about Rakeesh. Rakeesh be very fine warrior. He knows to be gentle and kind, too. Very wise, very strong, but his leg be hurt. Plenty bad hurt him all the time. If you be willing to know more about swordsmanship, talk to Rakeesh. He already be wielding a sword when we were babies. And yeah, I cannot tell her anything while we're here. Rakeesh, on the other hand, can actually give us some advice about magic spells if we're a wizard. It says we can ask him about magic. The use of magic is often considered unfair by warriors unless the opponent knows magic as well. Of course, the dagger against the sword can be deemed unfair too, so if your life depends on the outcome of the battle, you would be foolish not to rely on spells. During training or competition, the use of magic will merely result in disapproval and disrespect. Spectators will not appreciate your use of the Dazzle spell either, on account of that blinds them as well as the person you're fighting. And we can go ahead and also ask him about the specific spells. And I think we already asked about this one, but we can ask about the leaping lunge. The lunge is useful as a surprise attack. Going against someone who has mastered his weapon will be able to use it at will. The lunge depends more on instinct than anything else. Can't be employed, as we know. We can also ask him about the plunge. Quick follow-up, whenever your swing connects, repeated plunges can make the difference in damage you need. We can also ask about, here's another one, the inverse swing, but I think that's a sword maneuver. I reckon add nothing further to your knowledge. Counter slash. It would help if I spelled counter right. Perhaps there is someone who would know more about that than I, for I know very little about it. And yeah, that all Seems to be maneuvers that are meant for the fighter rather than the thief. So we'll go ahead and head out, and I can ask them about some of the other things. Actually, I think I was able to ask her about James, Swinging Sir James. I think maybe I can tell her about him. You tell about Sweeping Sir James. Our guildmaster was in charge when he came in here and offered Jackalman heads as trophies. I hear he'd be upset that they didn't want to accept more than one. Well, I can understand that. Being able to kill more than one is impressive. And we've already told her pretty much everything, I think, except let me try. Can't remember if I told her about the fire elemental or not. Did a good job saving the city. Yeah, we did get that comment from her before. We can also tell her about Aziza, oddly enough. Rakeesh visit her sometimes too, and not be too very uncomfortable around enchanters. And we can also talk about training. Thank her for the training. You'd be good enough to beat me, but in real battle it'd also be important to avoid as much damage as possible. And everything else, we already told her about Baba Yaga. Everything else involves the elementals we have yet to fight. But I don't think... Did we ask her about the moose? Never turn your back to moose, especially near mooseberry bushes. And we can also ask her about the spear. Yeah. Now Rakeesh... We can tell him about the fire elemental. Yes, it has been the talk of the city for the last few days. I've heard tell that the fire elemental can no longer be controlled by its conjure after being created. Containing such a thing is a greater feat than you may have considered it to be. Well, alright me. We can also tell him about Omar. Poetry is one of the aspects of Shapierian culture that many foreigners, including myself, have grown to admire. In my own kingdom, people generally think war tales are more exciting than listening to poems. And we can talk about dance, I think. Yeah, I've heard that your friends left Shapier in search of a hero. Explains their presence to Spielberg. The Kata generally avoid regions of colder climates unless absolutely essential. And we can also tell him about Aziza. So you have met Aziza. She is a very wise person whose magic and knowledge have benefited the Sultan on many occasions. She greatly values etiquette, so if you want her to share her knowledge with you, a formal and polite approach is advised. And let's see, we can also tell him about... pretty much everything we can talk to him about at this point. Oh, we can talk to him about training. Congratulations on winning. Your combat skills are definitely improving. And as for things we can ask him about that are... We can ask him about the moose. I have personally never encountered one. Yeah, unfortunately, there used to be rumors about encountering moose in the game, but unfortunately, you will not ever encounter one. Sorry. We can also ask him about Mordavia, which is the setting of Quest for Glory 4. I know very little about the Valley of Mordavia, other than the fact that it would take many months for one to travel there. It is rumored that the pass leading into the valley is flooded and is now completely inaccessible, which is true. And we can also ask about Silmaria, which will be the setting of Quest for Glory 5. Silmaria is a kingdom surrounded by the sea and is a marvelous place to visit. The King of Marit is a personal friend of mine. And that is all we can get, apart from, well, we can also ask about the Thieves Guild. Yeah, very dangerous subject about which to inquire. And we can also ask him about nature. Well, it says we can. Actually, that one is a topical question, so we can't ask about that at the moment. But that handles all of our conversation options for now. But hey, after all that, our communication is up to 148 and our weapon use is at 158. And I believe day is still dawning. Not a bad use of the pre-dawn hours. And eventually we do get an offer for one more job from Nirazad. But she never shows up this early. Thief types like to sleep in. I'm a rare exception to that. But I'm going to go ahead and walk out this way. Partly to get a little more stealth practice in, but also to see if I can find the trigger for one more quest that has been added into the VGA remake, which apparently you can find the graffiti to start it at some point after you catch the fire elemental. And it said that you can always find graffiti on Dinar Tark somewhere. The message reads, for a good time, visit Nidad at 98 Mirab Darb. For a bad time, tell Nad where you got this number. Message reads, I give my right hand to be ambidextrous. Message reads, latest drag, race results. Salt 5, the rest 0. Sometimes I wish I was what I was when I wished what I was what I am now. Sweeping Sir James was here. Wrench your own at Harem at Lewes. Okay, well apparently we are not going to get that message yet after all. But I'm going to pop over here just because. Earlier, when I was trying to find Sweeping Sir James over here on the Alley of Stars, I did wind up triggering another random encounter apart from Harpo showing up, and I would like to see if maybe I can get it to show up here again, since it seems this particular encounter favors T intersections. Well, perhaps not. Well, you know. Aha! Omar is reading poetry in the street today. And they ask what is a hero, though the answer is very clear. He's the one who faces danger when the darkness hovers near. And we have to hang around a bit for the whole poem to get read. He will face the fiercest foe when another needs his aid. He will dare to defy death even though he is afraid. He works not just for glory, and he does it not for gain, but because he knows that others will be spared a greater pain. He won't always follow orders, for he dares to answer why, and unless he likes the reason, he refuses to comply. He will brave the battle boldly, even though he may not win. He will face his face unflinching, for he is a paladin. Well, I'm not, but... And that's what's a hero, that the answer is evident. It's the one who faces death, knowing that his life's well spent. And yeah. I'm currently so exhausted everything I do hurts, so I'm going to go ahead and rest. Lest I keel over and fall from collapse. Collapse. It's now mid-morning. It's the poet Omar and his companion translator Jafar. Or maybe Ja'afar. Greet them. Many forget the polite thing to do. Greetings too often are given by few. I accept and confide in your gesture of pride. The same I extend now to you. Poet Omar is honored by your greeting, wishes to give you the same in return. Thank him. And let me see, is there just... Now, there are some things that we can ask him about, which we'll go ahead and... Let's go ahead and ask him about the fire elemental. The fire elemental, living flame, destruction unleashed, wild and never tame, causing all it touches then to burn, leaving only ashes in return. Fire elemental is created by a spell cast by a user of magic. Once created, it burns and destroys, uncontrolled by any master. We can also ask about Caravan. To journey far across this mighty land, to face the deadly driving dusts of sand, the shifting sun which sears the naked hand, and to survive it must be caravaned. Caravan's the best way to travel across Shapier. We can also ask about Paladin. A paladin travels where his conscience leads, quietly helping others with their needs. Not for glory, never for gain, good alone shall be the judge he heeds. Paladin goes wherever there is need and obeys only true justice and goodness. We can also ask about Rakeesh. Rasha Rakeesh Sacharan, it has been said, is a lion in the soul as in the head. Denying glory, walks where heart has led, a ruler who now rules himself instead. Rakeesh has walked a path that few can follow. He is more of a man than many men. We can also ask about the Emir. A tale is told of the same time last year that magic caused the man to disappear. A brother now is ruling in Razir, and no one knows the fate of the Emir. The true Emir of Razir vanished last year at the same time. You can also ask about magic. Learn ye now the magic of this land, to summon up the jinn and give command, to force your very foe to be a friend, to turn a man to beast and beast to man. Shapier has a magic all its own. And we can also ask about just elementals in general. Thing of magic shaped by magic spell, unleashed upon the land by wizard fell. Half-life thing that hates all things alive. Chaos loosed and in destruction thrive. Elementals are formed by magic spell and they gain in power as they destroy. Well, that's enough, but we're not quite done with them yet. Because if we leave the plaza... and then immediately go back... you see a small leather purse on the plaza floor. You pick up the purse and open it. It has 6 dinars and 25 centimes. Also has a small scrap of paper with the words, Quelling chaos from Shapier, driving darkness from Razir. In case it was not enough of a hint to you that this is, in fact, the purse of Omar. We will get a chance to give that back to him later. And yes, we actually are going to take the chance to give it back to him later because, well, there is honor among thieves somewhat. And speaking of honor among thieves, I intend to spend the rest of the day buying flowers and giving them away and seeing how high I can boost my honor and communication skill. And we will see the results of a day of doing that next time. See you then.